Hey guys, this is my community as text video that I'm calling Coast to Coast. Being in the military, I've had a unique kind of experience with this quarantine because I've had to move around a lot despite the quarantine. So starting from Fredericksburg, I went to San Pedro, California, back to Fishersville, Virginia, and then up to Carlisle, Pennsylvania. So in San Pedro, I wanted to talk about the mural. The mural is 200 feet long and made by this local artist in the picture here. What I think is really cool about it is that it focuses on actual people and actual places in the town. And throughout the months that it was being made, over 100 people came out and volunteered to help put the tiles on. I think this really shows appreciation for arts and appreciation for town and the people who came and wanted to support it. San Pedro is also home to one of the Trump golf courses, which was a very popular location for Black Lives Matter protests. I think this is another thing that shows a lot of passion in the people of the town. In this picture, you can see a lot of people are wearing masks. I found that on the West Coast, a lot of people were wearing masks and that there was a large push for it, especially in restaurants. People were being very strict. In this picture, you can see my local Trader Joe's that put a bunch of signs out, and they had cool little chalk drawings outside to mark the 6 feet lines outside of the store. In general, it was just really, I felt like they were doing really well for a lot of people wearing masks. The next place I was in was technically Fishersville, but Fishersville is really a lot of houses, so I'm going to be talking about Stanton, which is the town near it. What I found about Stanton is that they were very focused on nature. They were very clean, and I don't just mean like, oh, there wasn't trash around, but all the shrubs and all the bushes were very clean cut. You can tell that they really appreciate nature and these huge art pieces that they have around the town. It's also home to the Shenandoah National hiking area. I believe it's a national park. And I think it's cool that the people in this town are passionate about nature and about making their town look beautiful. Stanton is also a very historical town. It's the home of Woodrow Wilson, and this is one of the famous clock towers in the city. It was built fairly a long time ago, and they've done a lot of jobs renovating it. So I think it's cool to see that the people care about what it looks like and preserving history. The next place I'll be talking about is Carlisle. I think it's a really cute little town. My dad describes it as a sleepy little town, and my mom describes it as the place she wants to live forever. She has been trying for the last 2 weeks to convince my dad to buy and renovate this exact house. What I think is really cool about the houses in this place is that there is a lot of diversity in what they look like. You can tell that this place has had a lot of history because all of the houses look different, and when you walk down the street, you can see different ages and different period pieces from different houses. This town is also very focused on the arts. When you're walking through certain parts of the street, you'll come across a bright purple shop like this one. I think it's really cool that there's just a lot of focus on the arts, and it doesn't even seem like there's a specific reason for it. It really is just for the visual. This horse here is one of the carousel horses that are just randomly on the streets. Speaking of art pieces, here's one of the local art chalk drawings. Here's a picture of me with one, so if you ever see me on campus, please come and say hello. The town was also very vocal with posters and flags supporting the Black Lives Matter movement, which I thought was really cool, and it's nice to see that towns across the country are working hard to make sure that this is promoted and shown. So for my final thoughts, I wanted to do a little compare and contrast. All of these towns are college towns with a lot of passion and focus on arts. In Carlisle, there was a large focus on being environmentally friendly in the shops and stores, and I found that in general, all of the people in these towns were very friendly. In the LA County, people were much more vocal about their passions for COVID and the Black Lives Matter movement. From my house at night, we could hear and see protesters from miles away. Similarly, there was a very vocal push for mask wearing, and I found that I very rarely saw someone without a mask and hand sanitizer. On the East Coast, especially Virginia, I found that there was a little bit more pushback on mask wearing. Part of this could be due to the fact that COVID numbers are much, much lower in these states. As far as the Black Lives Matter visibility on the West Coast goes, I found that there was not as much of a physical presence as a physical support system. I didn't see as many protesters in streets, but rather many signs and flags. It was almost as if people were silently shouting from their porches. In Stanton, I did see a few All Lives and even White Lives Matter signs, which were quickly met by Black Lives and similar flags and signs from their neighbors. Overall, I think that even across thousands of miles, these towns were incredibly passionate, and it was very, very visible and easy to see while walking around their streets. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on campus.